Today is October 2nd, 2025. Here, myself, Yue Ma, and Mr. Ted Wang. Your Chinese name is Wen Da-cheng. Yeah, my Chinese name is Ma Yue. So we will have a conversation about your story. So first of all, I would like to learn some background information of your family. I hear you came here at 4-year-old from Hong Kong. Can you tell me a little bit about your family and how, did they live in Hong Kong or they moved to Hong Kong first in order to immigrate to United States?
Well, my father was actually born in Canton and my mother was in Hong Kong. When my father wound up joining with my mother in Hong Kong, I have actually 4 of us. So I got a sister who's the oldest one, I got 2 brothers, and I'm the youngest of 4. When my grandfather actually sponsored us to America in 1964, it was a great thing. It was a big change for us. Well, for me, when I was that age, I didn't really know too much about it. But even now, when my siblings start talking about some of the things that they had went through when they were in Hong Kong, I have really no idea pretty much what they are talking about. So for me, I sort of missed that opportunity in a way, but it is what it is. It's not that you can do too much about it.
Sure.
My father, we had an umbrella store, and when we were in Hong Kong, and again, I don't know too much about it except the fact that we had a business back there. But when we came to the United States, we ultimately wind up living in the same apartment building that my grandfather was staying. The only thing was that it was a small railroad type apartment, 3 rooms, and it was pretty much about 450 square feet. Ultimately, we wind up staying there for 12 years. So it was small, but we were able to make it work, with a lot of furnitures like sofa beds and rollaway beds and all that. But the place was so small that I actually wound up sleeping on top of a dining table. So, at the end, it was one of those things that my parents really wanted to move out of Bayard Street apartment for a while, but it was just really impractical because my father since he was a chef in Chinatown, long hours and all that, it was very difficult for him to actually travel after work. So, at the end, we realized and we concluded that Confucius, in this case, where we wind up ultimately, was the best place to be. So, at the end, a big change. Some of the things that took place that I can recall from my school years. I spent about 8 years in Chinatown, actually, with school. I started off over at the Transfiguration Church for pre-K, and then after I finished, I graduated. I actually transferred over to PS23, which ultimately became Mocha over at 70 Mocha Street.
So, were you or did the 4 children were born in Hong Kong?
Yes, we were.
So your father joined your mother before you were born.
Correct.
Okay. So your grandfather first moved here.
Correct.
And then your father, mother,
and the rest of the family, right?
Yeah, the children. How many years apart?
My parents?
After your grandfather came here.
It was pretty. I don't know
years.
exactly when my grandfather actually came to America. We never really got to spend too much time with my grandfather. My grandfather passed away when I was pretty young.
So your family came in 1964.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Right. I thought your family,
right.
Your grandfather came. Oh,
right.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, basically, you said you start from Transfiguration Church
for pre-K.
For pre-K, right? How it looked like? How it was Chinese school or?
Well, I actually went to Chinese school when I was actually in PS23.
Oh,
so
I see.
The way we did it was in the morning we had the public school in PS23, and then there was a short break, and then I believe, if I recall, the Chinese school started at 4 o'clock over
so
at
the Chinese school located at CCBA or Transfiguration Church?
No, CCBA.
Yeah, CCBA.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did that for a few years, and then when I went on to junior high school annex over at Catherine Street. And then after that, it was Charles Sumner 65 for 8th grade, basically.
Okay. So I think the PS23 closed at a certain point, but you graduated from there. Right?
PS23 actually wound up closing in 1975.
1975.
Yeah,
but you already graduated.
Yeah, I graduated.
But how about, like, I hear like not too many students there. That's why it forced it to be closed. But when you were there
I still had
students.
I still had a lot of photographs, the
Okay.
class photograph. And if you're looking, if I recall from looking at the first grade class, which was 1-1, I remember, I had a teacher named Mrs. Mark, and I think we had like about maybe 14 students or something like that.
14, okay.
And then when I got to the second grade, it's sort of like time and a half, maybe about 20 students or something. And as I got to third grade and fourth grade, it got bigger and bigger. But I think at the end, probably the most is about 35 students in the class.
Okay. How about the demographic? It's like mostly Chinese or Italian?
Well, when I got to the sixth grade, my last year in PS23, I remember there were like three Italians basically, and the rest of us were all Chinese, pretty much.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Let's. So I saw you win twice the Chinatown Mini Marathon. So how did you hear about the event? Because you didn't attend the first 2 years, right?
Well, I didn't know. Actually, it's funny because until I actually wound up registering over at CCBA, I found I was like, oh, this is the third mini marathon. So what happened to the first two? I never knew about that.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that at all.
But how did you know the third? Just you just randomly see the registration at CCBA?
Well, CCBA over at 62 March Street, they used to always have a lot of posters.
Right.
They would pin them or on a doorway, and then you would just read it just like anything else, like a theater, and you're advertising and all that. And I sort of remember that, and I registered.
Okay. Yeah, so twice you broke the records twice, right?
I don't know what the record actually.
Yeah, I read the newspaper.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think one of the things for me was the second time around. The first one was really completely a surprise for myself because, again, like I said, I didn't know what I was really getting myself into. One of the big thing was I just want to run in Chinatown and also across the Manhattan Bridge because it's something that is a once in a lifetime. But then I realized when I got to my second time around, it was actually defending champ. It's no longer everybody's after you in a way, and
So I can't imagine how it was like. So the street were closed by the police with
yes.
They closed.
They closed off March Street early in the day.
Okay.
Because the race itself starts at 10,
right.
And it goes into about noontime. So they closed. They set up the stands in front of 62 March Street, and they would have all the trophies on display.
Okay.
And then, of course, at the same time, it's also a table for you to do a check-in.
And the Canal Street also closed?
It was closed, but it was not closed. It was I think what happened was they closed it only when the race actually started.
Okay.
But, not before.
So as the first runner, like the first place, is there any like right now there like vehicle or bike or motorbike in the front to lead you, or how did you know where to run to?
I think it was just understood. It's like, okay, here's the route. You go toward the
twice.
You go toward the
bridge,
up March Street and you make a right turn, and can I just go up the bridge? It was like, okay, it's like there weren't any strings or anything like that.
So
or
basically,
ropes
you
or whatever.
lead everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think one of my big thing was, and sort of, when I spoke with my kids about it, when I was talking to them about it, as they finally, they grew up and all that, they understood a little bit about running and all that stuff. And I would say to them, I said, it's really strange, you're running there by yourself in Chinatown. You walk all the time, when you go around, around Chinatown walking and all that. Now you're running in Chinatown. And then, of course, not to mention, our window over in Confucius Plaza was actually facing the Manhattan Bridge. Yeah. When we first moved in there, it was like, it was a really spectacular sight. I mean, it was,
which year was that when you first moved?
We moved in there, well, my parents moved in there to a one-bedroom apartment back in fall of 1975 when it actually opened.
Yeah, okay.
But then what happened was that as time went by, my dad realized that it was probably better off to get a larger apartment, and so we can put the whole entire family in the same under one roof. So you talk about luck. We talked about it. My father talked about it, and then next day he goes down to the administration office, and he asked the lady, he goes, "Hey, would you by chance have a 2-bedroom apartment?" And the lady goes, "Wow, you came at the right time. There's someone who's living in the 2-bedroom apartment wants to switch to a 1-bedroom apartment." So we wound up switching, and so by the spring of 1976, we actually wound up moving up there. It was like twice the size easily of the apartment in Bayard Street. And just looking at the bridges, it was just amazing. I mean, you could see the whole length of the bridge. Of course, that was before they started building all these high-rises, and that sort of obstruct the sight. But other than that, it was just amazing, because we're not used to that high. When we were living in even Bayard Street, we were only on 4th floor. So I mean, you get a view. It's almost like one of those penthouse type of apartment at that time.
Right. That's amazing. So let's go back to the race. So I remember to see the newspaper saying that the first year, 1977, actually that's the year Emile Boucher took the photograph, and that's in our collection. That's 1977. So I remember you were in the youth group, and then the next year you become the adult group. Is that correct? Like you.
I remember being on the youth group back in 1977, but for the youth group originally it was supposed to be under 14, and I'm not even sure why I'm in a youth group, because at that time I was already 16 already.
Okay.
So I'm automatically assuming on the second year around, 1978, they put me there.
To the
it didn't really.
But no matter what,
it wouldn't matter.
You were on the first place all the time, and also broke the records. Actually, I'm curious because New York City Marathon started from 1970. So after you get the champion here, did you ever hear about New York City Marathon, or ever think about running the marathon in New York City?
I did, but at that time I was running track in Brooklyn Tech High School. So my coach actually advised me not to, because he was afraid I might get injured for whatever reason, and then I won't be able to compete in the fourth season of that year. The good thing was the fact that my brother, a decade later now we're talking about, he actually took up running, and he wound up running 6 New York City Marathon. To this day, I'm very proud of him, because it was something I couldn't do, but he took the torch and ran with it. So I'm really, really, really proud of him on that.
So your older brother? My
older brother, yes.
Okay. How many years older?
We're only about 2 years apart.
2 years apart.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So basically we talk about, so do you ever remember anything about application to get apartment from the Confucius Plaza?
Well, I think the application actually started in fall of 1974 into spring of 1975. I think at that time when the announcement came, there were very few applicants. I think the issue was that.
So when you see the announcement also from the CCBA, the Blade.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know where that came from, because my father was actually handling all that. Okay. I think the big problem was the fact that there weren't enough information, and the thing was people didn't understand the terms or the eligibility. Okay. So a lot of people, for them, is a big risk. But what I think now that I'm reading about it, years later, of course, that the Confucius Tower, which was once called and then Plaza, was actually the first public-funded housing project, which I think a lot of people didn't understand that. Okay. Of course, now as we got more mature, but for them, it was a really, really new thing, and the first thing people think of is that, it's a new building. Of course, the rent could be high. But I think the big change was when the 19th floor building actually opened in fall 1975. People who were hesitating to apply at first, they started applying because they started hearing about how how nice it is to actually live in Confucius Plaza. And then also how affordable the rent was, not to mention the including all the amenities. So that may really make a big change to how everything started to change within the application and all that process. Of course, the big thing also is have a lot to do with your income, the income requirement. That was one of probably the biggest thing when it comes to eligibility.
So did your father has any hesitation to apply, or
we did.
He's the first bunch of people to apply?
We were actually the first one. Actually,
Yeah.
And the story behind that one was actually how, like I said, we wanted to move at one time from Bay Street because it was just so crowded. That, but the only problem is, again, we can't move. We were pretty stuck in Chinatown in a way. And but then again, based on what we know at that time, we weren't sure we could actually afford it. So my father actually wound up keeping the apartment at Bay Street, and then we just only applied for one bedroom, just to make sure that we were able to cover the rent for both.
Live in both space, okay. But then after you switched to the 2-bedroom, were you all moved to Confucius Plaza, or were you still keep the Bayard?
No, we actually vacated Bay Street after we
vacated.
moved into the 2-bedroom apartment.
Okay. Yeah, so can you also talk about your, like after PS23, you went to the middle school, then you joined the track and field team? You joined the running team?
Well, when I went to Brooklyn Tech, that was one of the things that I always wanted to do in my lifetime was to compete, to see how I stand among all the other people or runners. And I just happened so that they made an announcement in Brooklyn Tech that there was going to be a track tryout. So I said, I'm going to take a shot at it. So the funny story to that one was that went for the tryout. It's a 5.5 laps around Brooklyn Tech hallway. It's equivalent to about a mile. And one of the things was, again, I'm pretty timid, very shy about everything. Seeing all these people stretching, big guys, everything. And I remember saying to them, I said, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not a good idea for me to try the tryout. But and I see everybody with these nice sneakers. At that time, everybody, we couldn't afford it. I was wearing a Pro Cat high top. I mean, at that time, it was like, hey, a pair of shoes, that's good enough, right? So I ran on that thing, and I came in first. Ran at, I think it was about 5 minutes, 30 seconds at that time. And after that, they designated me as the distance runner for a mile and 2 miles for the indoors and outdoor. And then I also ran the cross country about over 3.5 miles.
But that tryout was before the Chinatown Mini Marathon.
Yes, that's correct, because I started running in 74.
74.
And the marathon was 77.
Yeah. So you actually had like
experience on that. Yeah,
pretty good training and also
Right.
experience. Yeah. Okay. So after high school, you continue run, or you only compete?
I only ran for about probably less than 3 years. I didn't really run all the way to the end of high school.
Okay.
My priority changed, and it was one of the things I really didn't have much time. So I sort of dropped out the track team. I went for the Brooklyn Tech, and then, like I said, when that thing came up with the mini marathon, I thought, I've got to try that one. Because, again, like I said...
But that's already, you already not run.
I was running until...
high school, right?
I was running until 77.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so it's right the time
Yeah.
you're running. Okay,
Right.
that's great. So after high school, you went to Parson.
Correct.
But then, so what? You didn't really run, yeah? In
No,
college,
I
right?
actually stopped competing after the 1978 mini marathon. But I sort of occasionally I would run because I joined the Army in 79 when I was in college.
Oh, when you were in college, you joined
Right,
the
I joined the-
Army. So what inspired you to join the Army?
During the Iran crisis back in 1979, when they had the hostage, things like that, I decided to join, and we had a Army unit that was near Parsons.
Okay.
So it was very convenient for me at that time to do that.
Okay.
And I figured the worst thing that happened is only 6 years. But then I ultimately wound up being in the Army for 31 years.
Yeah, can you talk about your 31 years at Army?
Well, my biggest accomplishment was actually I was able to do my basic training between my freshman year, first year in college, and the second year. I did that through the whole entire summer. So that was very important because if I didn't, I would have to take time off from school. So that worked out for me real well. Within the 3-year period, I actually went for officer candidate school. So I got my commission as a second lieutenant, but same year I graduated from college. And then during that year, I had a lot of assignments. Even during 9/11, for example, I was actually activated. My unit was activated up in Park Avenue and 67th Street. We were activated for 9/11. I wound up spending about a month working on that thing. I spent some time down here in China. Well, I wouldn't say Chinatown, but by the 9/11 area during that period. I was one of the staff officers, so I got to. My biggest thing was actually on personnel, so I had to keep track of all the personnel going in and out, and things like that. I think to me, the biggest assignment was actually being the aide to the general of the New York Army National Guard. I was actually his aide, so I spent 3 years with him, Major General Robert Rose. That was probably the best part of my life when I was in the military. You get to do things that you will never get to do anywhere else. We would fly pretty much everywhere. We would travel everywhere. We get to meet a lot of people. Even if you recall, the TW 800, we were involved in that. So.
Okay, that's great. So do you think the running experience helped you in the Army training?
It did, because every year we are required to take an Army physical fitness test twice a year. So that's why I was saying I don't compete anymore, but I still got to keep myself in shape. But then I have to admit, when I hit 2010, when I retired after that 31 year, it totally stopped. No more push-up, no more sit-ups. My wife keeps saying to me, "Oh yeah, I can see that your stomach start growing."
That's interesting. So did you maybe I'm wrong. So did you ever been Iraq?
Yes, I was. I was in Iraq and.
What that experience?
Well, I was in Iraq in 2004. So during that period, I was already transferred over to an Army Reserve unit in New Jersey because I was living in New Jersey. It was very inconvenient, of course, being in the New York Army National Guard at that time. They were looking for volunteers. During that period, they were looking for volunteers to actually be instructors for the new Iraqi army. And the objective of the new Iraqi army was supposed to be able to defend themselves in Iraq. So my job was, me and 5 others, I was the deputy brigade commander. I was assigned to actually teach the brigade staffs of everything we sort of do in the military when it comes to the staff level training. And then underneath me, we had other officers who were training, just like basic trainees. Well, in this case, we were actually covering our brigade over 2,200 Iraqi army. I was spend about 6 months there, and then I returned, and the next group goes out. It was like a rotation, basically.
Okay, yeah. That sounds very unique experience.
Yeah, and then when I came back, I sort of went to CENTCOM. CENTCOM is actually the one down in Medill Air Force Base in Tampa. They're the one actually in charge of all the Middle East operations. So I wound up spending 6 months down there. I get to meet a lot of generals and a lot of officers, a lot of different positions. And then after that, I moved on to the Pentagon. I spent about a year and a half in the Pentagon as a action officer in the Army Operations Center. That was another great experience. I always, even when I retire, I remember my last speech to all the other officers in my unit. Was like, hey, you need to do something different. You can't just stay in the unit and just sort of buy your time. If you really want to make something out of your career, this is the way to do it. So I don't know. I didn't keep up with some of those friends, so I don't know what happened to them.
Okay. So after the 31 year on the Army service, what did you do?
Didn't do much because, that was a part-time, first of all, the Army. I did some active duty time, I was mentioning about Iraq and all that, but I had my own civilian career. So I started off in advertising, spent 5, almost about 10 years. And then I spent time in financial. I actually wound up working for Deutsche Bank for another 10 years.
Okay.
And then after I came back, like I said, from the military in 2010, sort of in a way, I sort of rolled into a government contracting position. So that pretty much covered my whole entire career, 45 years actually.
Okay. Okay.
So now I'm retired.
So when you talk about the advertising, investment, and the government contract, that's all like after the army, right?
No, all together at the same time.
So even during the army.
Yes. So
you did the,
right.
the work, like similar work.
So I actually pretty much put in 2 jobs over 28 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then the rest of them was one job basically after I retired from the army.
Did your friends or neighbors move to Confucius Plaza also, or not really?
No, all
Like
new friends.
classmates?
All new friends. I mean,
All new friends.
yeah, I think even when we moved in, well, at least my parents moved in the fall of 1975. And one of for me, the most interesting thing was it was so quiet. The building there was no one there.
I see, okay.
It was like a
That's
ghost town.
interesting.
Yeah.
But
And
you think it's not fall? The building like not fall?
no, I think, again, like I said, I think a lot of people were hesitating to
Okay.
apply. So I think it's like everything else. People like to see how it goes before they actually,
they
get involved in
apply
it. Yeah.
for. Okay, that's very interesting. Yeah. Okay. So did you ever like notice the building was built or like under construction or during that time?
Well-
Like did you notice there is a like new building come up?
Well, I remember I used to have to pass by it every time I go to the school. And the interesting part was I always remember that on the Bowery side of Confucius was actually a large parking lot. We didn't really care too much about it, but when the construction actually started, they actually closed the perimeter to, and also to the pedestrian. They put all these wooden boards all over the site. But if you want to see the actual progress, the biggest thing was when you would peek in and what you would see is a big, giant dug hole for the building foundation. Now, keep in mind that the site is about 2.5 acres. It covers 2.5 acres. So what that means is basically it's about 2.25. In comparison, it's like 2.25 size of a football field, which is pretty big with a big hole, very deep. And then all you get to hear is them banging the steel beams into the ground. But at the end, it's just amazing. It's amazing seeing how they build, because for my lifetime, at least in Chinatown, that was the biggest project that you will be able to see. Yeah.
It's like so different compared to the old street, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So actually, does your family still own the two bedroom right now?
Unfortunately, the answer is no. So my parents passed away during the COVID,
Oh,
and
sorry
we
to hear about.
we basically we gave Confucius back to
Oh.
the administration, whatever it is,
Oh,
to the
okay.
office. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, and also, all my siblings, we all live in New Jersey, different parts of New Jersey. So there's really no need to even keep
No
it
need
if we
to
wanted
keep
to.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. But actually, that's like a rental, right?
Well, actually, it's actually a limited equity housing cooperative. What that means is basically, again, this is something I don't think a lot of people understand. It's basically you sort of own, all the residents collectively owns their property.
Okay.
I mean, and then I think there's shares to it. If I remember, my dad used to say that you get shares to it, but there's obviously restriction how you go about selling it or whatever it is.
I see.
So I don't, my brother did all that stuff when my parents
Okay.
passed away. So
But your parents still need to pay monthly.
yeah, you still have to. You have a monthly.
It's like
yeah.
a rental
But
or like own.
Yeah, right. Well,
It's like both.
yes, I think it's. I don't think it's really for rent. I always feel as though it's the amount that you actually pay is really for the utilities.
Oh,
I think I mean, sometimes, especially in the summer, you can hear all the air conditioner system going, because literally every room in every apartment there's an air conditioner system, and especially on those hot summer days, all the air conditioners are on. So I can imagine just the overhead, as far as the utility bill, it's got to add up. So I'm assuming that's pretty much what the bill is you're really paying for.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting to hear. It's always, and the PS23 is another, focus we would like to learn more about the school.
Well, it's a shame because I went up there before the fire, I remember, and I remember going to the second floor because the second floor was always the principal's office and things like that. And I remember, I think we were on the second floor. And what really astounded me was the pencil sharpeners. They were actually screwed onto the wall right in front of each of the classroom. I'm like, oh, I don't remember that. So to me, that was a. And then of course downstairs in the first floor with the cafeteria.
Oh, okay.
All the tables, they would close up all the tables and all that.
So actually, you, like the student, have had lunch at school?
Yes.
Okay. At the time, right, 1970s.
And they even had, at one point, they had breakfast.
Oh, okay.
So they would have like a packet for each of the kids. It had the juice, you have a fruit, you had a bagel or something like that. And then you have a box of cereals, and then the milk, or the juice was separate and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, you don't have to worry about what to eat.
It's like in the morning and then
the
early afternoon. You went to CCBA every day for Chinese school?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Every day, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
I think it was 4 to 7. I remember that.
Okay. Wow, that's a long school time.
Well, yeah.
Chinese
Sometimes I
school.
think about it. It's like, oh, I don't know how we went through it, but I think back in the old days, everybody goes to school. I mean, one of the things that I remember in the '60s were you would see a lot of gentlemen or whatever, mature individuals. They would be standing on the street with a newspaper reading. Because reading back then was pretty much the only mean of getting information and current events. And we used to always have to do current events.
Magazine, newspapers,
Yeah. So those. So everybody was, it was almost understood. Everybody knows how to read. There was no question about it. I mean, you can't turn around and say, hey, can you write something or can you read something? Everybody already, it's understood. Everybody knows what they need to do. So I was very impressed. I wish it's like that now in a way because I know, like even my kids and my grandchildren or that, I know eventually for my kids a little bit older now, so it doesn't work anymore. But for my grandchildren, I hope that they learn Chinese or whatever language, Cantonese or Mandarin, whatever it might be, because now it's getting to that point where everybody needs to know bilingual language.
Sure. So did both your parents work during the time when you were in Chinatown?
Well, my father was a chef in Chinatown, the same profession as his dad. He was also a board member of the Hokushan Association I think for decades, especially as soon as we came to
right?
Hokushan, the one over at March Street.
Okay.
And then my mom was operation manager for a garment.
Government factory.
No, not government. Garment factory in Chinatown. But she was also responsible for creating the garment prototype, like samples, for the workers and things like that.
Okay, that's good to learn. So it's good for you to live close to school, like in the community. What do you remember the community activities, for example, the Columbus Park?
Well, back then, first thing first, it was very safe. Because I remember going to school by myself, eighth grade. Well, I'm sorry, not eighth grade, when I was 8 years old, which in this case, according to me, I think it was like third grade or whatever it was. And then, between school, my dad would leave us $1 for 4 of us, a quarter each. And we'll pick up whatever we need, snacks or whatever in between school. The streets were pretty empty. Back in the 60s, Chinatown was very light. Everybody seemed to know everybody. And everybody was very, very friendly. I think one of the things I sort of always remember my dad would say that you can spit and you can not even hit anybody because it was that empty on the street. Chinatown was always a small and a quiet community. I think you can bump into people on the street, either your friends from school or even people you come across in common places, like grocery stores or coffee shops or restaurants. I think one of the big thing I could remember was it was not difficult to know that you're actually in Chinatown. For example, all the storefronts signs are all written in Chinese. The phone booths and even the street lights at that time, they had pagoda tops. It changed throughout the years because they did it like couple of decades later again. But some of the building rooftop, they actually have ancient Chinese designs, which actually incorporate some of the neighborhood's culture. And then I think as far as entertainment, we had we had the theater, you have the movie houses or even the live performances at that time. I think it was Sun Sing, Pagoda, and I think Music Palace.
Yeah, Music
but then for kids, it was always the Chinatown Fair. It was an arcade that was underneath the Port Arthur restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where the kids get to play the skee ball or the pinball machine. And of course, everybody knows that because it's interesting. I saw a book outside where they were talking about the tic-tac-toe chicken. But the tic-tac-toe chicken actually came afterwards because it used to be the famous dancing chicken. That's what it was before the tic-tac-toe chicken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then of course, during the weekends, you have a lot of people actually going to the park. They mingle with the friends. I remember my parents always used to take us to the park, with the friends and so forth. And then, of course, other people will actually participate in sports. Back then in the 70s,
Like basketball.
yeah. The young, I call it the younger generation, they will always participate in either volleyball, basketball, or there would be soccer.
Oh, soccer.
Yeah, so, in fact, those are some of the things that actually took place later on in the Chinatown Field Day with the basement workshop.
So then, did you ever watch a lot of like Hong Kong movie in the theater, or you like your classmates?
Yes and no.
watch English.
Yes, back in the 70s, that was also the year of the Chinese movie on VHS. Of course, VHS rentals were throughout the whole entire Chinatown, and obviously my mom would get movies from the garment factory, how among friends they trade or whatever it is, and but they were also at the same time was so popular that there was always a waiting list for weeks or even for months. But going out itself to a theater, not in the 70s, maybe in the 60s, early meaning in the mid 60s, whatever, but not in the 70s.
Okay. So is that like you said you went to army when you were at the college? So is that like normal or a lot of people doing the same or at the time?
It was very difficult. What I majored in environmental design, which is architecture and interior design, it was very demanding. One class is 10 credits.
Okay.
So you're actually spending a lot of times. So no, I don't really think there was much time for me to really do anything else besides just that.
So do you think I believe it's like a big decision made like for you to join the army during
I think I was just
time, right?
All I can say is my mom's could probably, what me.
Right. So how about
When
your
I told my
parents?
mom after I joined, I never told my mom I was joining, right?
Before
Yeah.
that,
So I joined. I told my mom, and my mom was, "What? You're nuts?" I'm like, "Okay, never mind." But as time went by, my mom used to say, "Oh, Tad, I always thought it was crazy for you to actually join, but actually it was probably the best thing you ever did because now you got pension in addition to everything else. I mean, you never really look at your future that way. When you're young, you're always like, hey, I just want to do it because it's just a curiosity. But then at the end, I mean, it really worked out. I learned a lot. I feel as though I actually mature a lot from that.
Right.
So.
But you didn't realize before, or you expect that? before you joined?
No, I'm not quite sure what I was really looking for back
You
then.
actually didn't have a lot information before
Now,
you joined, right?
one thing that my siblings and I used to do, and this is years ago now, we talk about on East Broadway, between near Sun Sing actually, there used to be an Army surplus store.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, you got clothes all over the place, the uniforms and so forth. And I remember we used to always go in there and buy all those little insignias. I mean, we didn't really understood what they were, but we watch a lot of Army movies. We watch the Battle of the Bulge, or we watch, D-Day or whatever it is. I mean, we were kids, so we watch all those things. And then back then, buying a whole bag of plastic soldiers was only a cent. I remember, I'll never forget that. It was only a penny. And my grandfather would get it for us, and we would play like continuously. So I guess it was one of those things that was influenced in a way.
Okay.
So I had a lot of interest. I mean, interest and a lot of curiosity. I wasn't sure if I was able to survive through the training. I remember even going through basic training. I was like, wow, no one ever yelled at me like this. With the drill sergeants, they would, they yell at you. You've seen some of these movies before,
Yes.
and it was like, I'm like, wow, can I get through this whole entire thing? I made it through, and then, of course, when I went to officer candidate school, they went through the whole thing again in a way. A little bit more of a gentleman course, but at the end, it was still like something like that. Go through the harassment and so forth, and but hey, it was fun.
It was okay, right?
Yeah, it was okay. It was fun.
Were there many Asian or Chinese in the army
Yes.
at the time? Okay.
So what happened was, I can't remember what year it was. There was a gentleman named I think it was Peter Ng.
Oh. Yeah.
So at that time, he worked with he was working out with the CCBA to come up with a recruiting type of thing
Oh, I see.
in Chinatown for
Okay.
for Asian soldiers.
Okay.
So we actually, from my understanding, we actually recruited a whole entire, literally a unit of Chinese.
Okay.
I don't know how they did it exactly, but they ultimately wound up stationed over at the 23rd Street Armory. So, but anywhere else you go, no. But when you within the New York area, used to do. Like my nephew was in the my sister-in-law's sister's son was in the same unit I was in.
Oh,
So,
that's interesting. Okay. Do you have a lot of photographs?
Do I have a lot of?
Photographs of you in the army?
I actually have a video of myself
Oh,
of
that's great.
everything.
Yeah.
I have a lot of pictures. In fact, I did one when I retired. My wife helped me put something together for when I was from basic training all the way through of some of the training that I did. Some of the pictures from Iraq. I'm sure everybody heard about the palace in Iraq and Kuwait. So I got that picture. And it was a lot of interesting pictures. Even my father at one time was asking me about. He said, "Yeah, I was telling my friends at the association about my son in the army, blah blah blah." And he goes, it's one of those. Yeah, you sure? You gotta sort of like prove it to me. So I gave some of my pictures to my dad. with the army tanks and all. I mean, we talk about military tanks, armored vehicles and all that with the bullets. The rounds. And I go.
That's
So they were
interesting.
very impressed with it.
Yeah. So besides the training, you think it's intensive. You even think if you can if you can go through the whole training process you mentioned, right? But what kind of other challenge you face too as
In the
Asian
army?
American or Chinese American
I-
identity?
I think the big thing is actually you have to have interest. In fact, my nephew, my brother's son, wanted to join the army recently, and I think that the problem is that he wasn't able because of another reason. I don't want to get into it, but you have to have the interest. You can't look at it from the standpoint, and I always tell people this: don't look at it from the standpoint as though you're making money. You're not going to make money. I remember, just to give you an idea, and I'm talking about years ago, of course, with two different things now. I was making maybe like $30 in a whole entire weekend as a private when I first started joining. You know, of course, by the time I left, I was making in the thousands because I actually retired as a lieutenant colonel.
Yeah.
So it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
You have to have the passion. If you don't have the passion and you're doing it just to do it, it's not going to work. Because this could be a lot of frustration. You're not going to get any recognition. You're going to realize, you say, well, I try so hard and no one cares. That's the way it is. You have to basically, and then there's always going to be assignments that you don't like. I remember when you were a second lieutenant, it was almost given. You were the convoy commander. It was given as a second lieutenant. No one wants that job. It's the worst job ever. And the reason for that is because you got to lead your whole entire convoy to wherever you need to go. And you have a lot of responsibility. And don't forget, when I became a second lieutenant, I was only 21 years old. So, I mean, it's like, you look around, again, it goes back to everybody's so mature, everybody's so much older than you. They know more than you. And you're like, I'm going to be leading you. So I think those are the biggest challenge. And of course, you have to be physically fit to some extent.
Right.
Because some of the things that you're going to wind up doing is going to be is tough.
Right.
And you could be doing things that you would normally not do, like, for example, staying up all night. You know, I mean, I know now these days we do when we're in school, but I'm just saying some people are not used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing for any kid. I mean, I call kid meaning 17 years old, 18 years old, to join. I would love to see them join when they're young, because when you hit into your 20s, you're in a totally different league. Your thinking's all different. Everything for you is a very personal thing. You know, like someone says something to you, oh, I don't like that. You know, versus when you're a kid, you're like, you just blow it off. You know.
That's very important advice. Yeah.
So we had one guy who was from New Jersey at that time. We were in New York. Very different. You look at him like your father in a way, even though he's not old to be a father, but he was like the father figure. So.
Okay. So do you remember anything like as Asian American or Chinese American? So you benefit from this, background or identity when you were in the army or at work?
You had to work for everything. I mean, at that time, I don't ever remember.
Or it's any like disadvantage? Or?
I think you have to, like I said, I think you have to work for everything. No one. You had to work. I mean, there was nothing given to you. I mean, I remember when I was in college, you were being looked at differently because you have a curve in your grades, and it was like, well, you know what, I can give you whatever grade, and one of the things that, and this is my own personal opinion, somehow we don't fight. I mean, we don't fight meaning we don't want to make any trouble, and because of that. We always people always take advantage of us. But again, we always show what we can do. Like my recent boss before I retired used to say, "Oh, give everything to Ted." Not because he wants to give me the work, because he knows it gets done. And we always get work done. I mean, first there's a lot of people just procrastinate and it doesn't get done well and things like that. So I think for us Asians, there's more trust. Of getting anything accomplished. And one of the things is we don't like to fail. That's the way we are. It's in our blood. It doesn't,
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. I think you already talked about the advice to young people who would like to join the army or so is there anything else you would like to advise young people from your personal life experience?
Well, I always believe if there's something you have in mind that you want to do, try it. Give it a shot. Anything. Good example. You want to swim? You want to try swim. And if you don't like it, then you say, I tried it. Rather than 20 years later, you say, well, I wanted to swim, but I didn't get the chance to. Well, if you turn around and say, well, in this case, I don't have the money for or whatever it is, the opportunity, that's another story. But if the opportunity is given, go for it. Like even now, my grandson is actually starting swimming, and 4 years old, 5 years old. Let him do it. If he doesn't like it, he'll tell you. Then do something else. Like one of the things I wanted to do was, instrument. And back then, our family was very, very poor, so we didn't really get much of an opportunity to do anything. One of the things I always tell my kids, two things I always tell my kids. Even when they gave me my recent party, they brought it up. Brought it up meaning that it was part of the joke. Hey, this is things that Daddy used to say. You can't do this, you cannot do this, and all that. And the two things was, don't leave anything on the plate. Whatever's on your plate, finish it. So, and
that's important.
Yeah, and the other thing was, try what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Don't let anything stop you.
Yeah, that's great. So actually, back to the race. So how did you find Mocha? Has the story with your race and your image?
Well, I got those pictures. The one that I actually provided to Mocha. Put it away. I used to. I'm very organized, so I put everything in books and whole 9 yards, all that. So I remember it, but I just don't. It's in the garage.
Okay.
And then in the December of 2020, my daughter sends me a text with a photograph, and she goes, "Hey, Daddy, is that you?" So I said, "Yeah. Where did you get that photograph from?"
Okay.
Right? So I said, "Yes, it is me." And I said, "What is this about?" She goes, "Oh, some people are actually inquiring about the 77, 78 marathon, and they don't have much information." And I said, "Oh, well, I'm still around. I'm not, what yet." So I mean, if someone wants to hear my story or needs more information, I'm still here. And nothing for nothing. I'm the winner of it too, so I should know, somewhat a lot about it. So my daughter goes, "Daddy, why don't you contact Mocha?" So I did, and I got a hold of Harvey, and that's how we sort of been connecting along the way. And then now here we are sitting here talking about it.
Yeah. So after. Okay. So after you win 1977 and 1978, did your coach at school know that, or actually what? So I remember you said you were in the track team at the time, right?
Yes, I was.
So how about you win the champion?
Never mentioned anything to him.
Okay.
Never. I never mentioned anything.
Even didn't know.
Actually, even this morning when on my way here, the first thing I hit myself was like, did I ever tell my parents I was running the marathon?
Oh, really?
I mean, don't forget they were very, very into Chinatown at that time.
But you were
right?
on the newspaper, Chinese newspaper everywhere, right?
I cannot even remember what happened. Besides, after the race, got home, right? Dropped the trophy off, and I went off to work. No idea. Can't even remember anything.
Okay.
I don't know. It was important to me. Don't get me wrong. The race was very important.
And also the experience is so good because you lead the whole.
Well, see that
the whole race. You're the first one for 2 years.
That's what actually scared me. First year more. When I first after the race. First of all, when I stood at the starting line, I mean, people were so much bigger than me. If you look at the photo, I'm like, wow, I'm like a little guy. Yeah? And I always laugh, I always joke around, my kids and I would say, Daddy looks like he's like a deer in the headlights. He just stands there, doesn't do anything. Like there's no emotion, And so after the race started, I actually wound up taking the lead right after the turn onto Canal Street. And then when I got to the actual Man Bridge entrance arch, a strange feeling came across. It was so hollow. It was like the place is empty. There's no one there. There's no train. Because again, when we used to listen to the train going by on the bridge, when we used to live in Confucius, it was like, oh yeah, here goes the train going by there. There's no cars. We used to drive by them. My brother used to drive at that time. There was no one on the 3-lane roadway, and I'm the only one running on it. And hit me was, oh my goodness, there's no one around me. It's quiet. Now I have to pace myself. Now in any competition that I've been in when I was in high school, there's always someone tell me what's the time.
Right.
It's like nothing to gauge from. Yeah. And then again, like I said, it's a new thing for me, this race. So I have no idea who I'm competing with. I don't know who the first place runner was from the previous year.
Right.
So I don't know who I should be watching out for. All I know is I'm all by
You
myself.
probably took his place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I got to the actual bridge itself, from the concrete onto the gridded roadways, that's when I realized I have a big problem. I never ran on a gridded roadway before. So just to give you an idea what a gridded roadway is, it's like a nail, but it's pretty far apart from each other.
Okay.
So you really when you the difference between running on that versus running on the flat road or streets or whatever.
So Manhattan Bridge was different from that time.
From
So Manhattan Bridge, I remember now you can run right there, like passage.
on the pedestrian side.
Yeah, but back to that time there was no.
I heard there was, but I was not too too crazy about it. It seems pretty narrow, and and one of my big things is I'm a little scared of height. So when you're running on the side of which is a little a little bit always worried about. But when you run on the gridded roadway, the problem is you don't get any traction. And then the big problem with that is you're actually wobbling as you're running left and right because you not really have a flat surface to land on with your feet.
Right.
So you start losing your running form and your stride.
Yeah.
So I was getting tired and tired as I'm actually running. The big thing that actually helped me was when I got to the other side, the Brooklyn side. So there was an organizer.
Yeah, that's my next question.
Yeah.
Is there any organizer or volunteer or water station support?
No, none of the above except for the organizer. So the organizer was on the side, and the person was either check you off or whatever it is, and then also to direct the runners where to make the U-turn because you have to go around the individual in order to start heading back. For me, the surprising part was that was the first time I actually turned, literally, if you want to put it that way, turn around to see where the second runner was. And that's when I realized, wow, I'm so far ahead. I couldn't believe it. Again, I said, I have no idea what this race is about.
Like 2 minutes apart.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And the league got bigger and bigger as I go around the second time, basically.
Yeah.
But it sort of, and the first thing hit my mind at that time was like, well, hold it, wait a minute. Instead of something that I was thinking about prior to that was, hey, maybe I should change my running strategy from competing to just completing the race because, hey, what happens if I can't finish the race? So after I came around that turn, I saw what the second place was. I'm like, well, hold it, wait a minute. This is a totally different race now. Now it's more of trying to keep the pace,
others,
right?
right? Yeah.
Keeping the pace and then maintain the lead. And, of course, that's the only way you're going to win the race. And then, of course, as I came back around for the Manhattan side, the lead got bigger and bigger and bigger. So when I think Emil, when he took that photograph of me.
Do you remember him?
Yeah, he actually introduced himself after the race, after I crossed the finish line.
Okay.
And in fact, he gave me his business card. I don't have that business card anymore. And then I don't remember how we made the arrangement of how I wound up getting those photographs. The one that I submitted to Mocha. Yeah,
his work is in Mocha.
Yeah.
So his work across over 10 years.
Right.
Negative sprints. All the contact sheets are in our collection. Yeah.
So I mean, and then of course, as I'm sort of getting toward to the end of the race, I notice as I'm approaching Bowery, there's no one directing the traffic on Bowery to stop the traffic for me to get to the other side of Bowery. I'm like, oh, this is great. I just finished running the race and there's no one stopping the traffic. What happens if I get hit by a car? But anyway, everything worked out.
So it's not blocked. So there's still a car around.
Yeah, traffic was, I mean, maybe in this part I don't remember was, maybe the light changed, changed to red, and that's the reason way I was able to get through. But no one actually stopped the traffic. I remember there was no one there.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was funny. But I think for the second year, 78, my strategy changed a lot because I was working at that time in a grocery store in Chinatown.
Okay.
So I didn't really get much time to really do any training. I'm sorry?
But you run faster than the first year.
Yeah, but here's the catch. This is the funny part. So I was working in a grocery store. I used to lift a lot of boxes. So when we get the truck shipment, you have to unload the truck, right? And then, of course, you remember the 25-pound bags of rice? Well, when we get that big truckload, and it's like 300 bags of rice, you got to like, from the truck onto, to the basement. So I got a lot of this kind of training. I mean, what I mean by it, because it really helped me in actually building my upper body, and also, of course, improved my form and stride. Because now I can actually control myself a lot better. I think that was really my big saver for the 78 marathon. But I never really thought about it until I started thinking about some of the things that Harvey and I were talking about a few months back. It was like, yeah, I was a defending champ, and I never thought about defending, actually defending myself. Forget about winning. Of course, obviously, like anything else, you always want to make sure you get a better improvement at time.
Yeah. Okay. So all I think every year is like about 90 or 100 also runner to attend.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Based on the runners list from 77, there were only about like 50 people.
50 people. Okay.
But the article is actually talking about like 95 and
90 something.
So I don't know.
Maybe the big number is 90 something, right?
Well, I got 92.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's possible. I mean, I don't know how they came up with that.
People didn't show up properly.
Yeah. It's possible. Yeah.
But all those people are Chinese.
There were few.
Or there
were few.
Yeah.
I think I would say probably Italian. I'm guessing. My best guess. There were a few, Caucasians, but majority of them said it's Chinese.
Okay. So how about the year after? So did you look for around 1979, or they never they stopped?
I just lost interest, and then when my school started, I just didn't even have time. But
okay.
That was something interesting too. I was thinking about it because I would think that if I didn't know about it, somebody, the director, whatever, would actually reach out to, hey, you're the defending champ from the previous year. That, of course, it's like everything else. You would want them to run. So I don't know if there were actually another mini marathon after the one in 1978.
So you don't know if
no, I do
there
not.
is a one in 1979, right?
No idea, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, we don't know either. We don't know.
Like I said, when I did the registration, I didn't even know that was the third one, from 77. I was like, wow, what happened to the first two? I didn't even know about it.
So you mentioned that you also have photographs of the race, right? Of yourself in the race.
I gave it.
Yeah. So are those photos taken by Emma Boucher also? Or
yes, they were.
They were all taken by him.
The photograph, yes. The newspaper, no idea who took those photographs.
Okay. So the photograph given to you by Emma Boucher?
Yes, correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but not the...
So it's like you talk to him not only on the race day, but also after?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what do you remember him besides, taking a photo of you?
I remember the way he was introducing himself. Like, I'm okay. And I'm like, okay, so what about it? I'm like, I didn't know who he was. All I could see was with a big camera, right? I'm like, okay. So I guess he took pictures, whatever it is. And I took photographs of the, of the race and all that stuff. And I'm guessing, this part I'm guessing. If you want some or whatever it is, give me a call or reach out to me. Here's my business card. That was it. We didn't really didn't get to talk too much about, because I think he was focusing on other stuff. But he wanted to introduce himself to me. So.
Sure. So he gave out the photographs of you, like for free, right?
That I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't remember that part.
Okay.
Even to this day, I don't remember how I got it from him. I mean, did I go to his office? I mean, or whatever, or did he mail it to me? I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's very interesting. Do you still run right now, or you stop running?
Oh, I stopped running.
Okay.
You're lucky if I even walk around the block. my wife's going, maybe we should get a dog. Then you can take the dog for a walk every day. Because a lot of my neighbors does that. So, but now.
No. So do you remember why you stopped?
I'm just busy. My interests just change, and it's just like, just don't have to, you don't have the motivation anymore.
Okay. So now you're retired. If there is any chance, do you want to run again?
No.
No. Okay. Why? Why? Your answer so quick.
I look at everything like, it's funny, I look at everything in a way like work. It's like, you gotta get up. Oh God, I gotta get up. You know, like one of those, everything's like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I was like, you know, my wife's saying, you gotta wash the dishes, you gotta do this. I'm like,
okay.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't have the interest. I think I did so much of that in my lifetime. I'm just, I gotta move on. So like now I do a lot of sort of my own outdoor carpentry stuff, you know, things like that. So last year I built my older brother, because when we were kids we were always in the train tables, and we even built one. We folded and we put in. Believe it or not, even with that small apartment, we were able to build in and able to play with it every time we pull it out on the table. So I built him actually a real nice one. That was last year. So it's about 2.5 feet by 4 feet. He designed it, the track layout, and I would design all the other parts to it, because like, you know, the landscape and all. So we got lakes on there, we got a park in there, we got housings and blah 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 and so forth. It came out really nice. So my brother go, oh, you know, Tad, we want to, you know, try to see if we can put it underneath a coffee table. So you know, instead of having a separate table, you have a coffee table, so you can put your stuff. Okay, so finally this year after I retire, I was able to design him one, you know, whole 9 yard and all that. So now I'm waiting for him to put it all together. Like, he got all the parts right now. Now I got to all put it together, turn the switch on, and everything will work. But I don't know when that will happen.
Yeah.
And then my wife always wanted planters, you know, for the back. We got a pretty big size backyard, and we always say, well, what do we want to do, you know? And we said, okay, we'll make planters. I said, that's so boring, you know, like you do a planter, typical rectangle one, you know, whatever it is. So I said, let me come up with something. And I came up with the idea of building a train, 4-car train, a locomotive, 2 cars, and a caboose. So it's like 4 feet by 2 feet by 4 feet for each car, with the wheels, the whole 9 yard.
Wow.
So after I finished all the woodwork, you know, bought all the tools, cut the stuff. I said, all right, honey, I said, now it's up to you now to do the painting. I don't care what color you want. It's all yours now. So, so she painted, and after she finished painting, in fact, interesting was one of my neighbors. All my neighbors kept coming back. So, oh, Tad, you know, you should put it on the market. You know, maybe, you know, you can. I'm like, oh no. So, I mean, it was fun. I mean, I really enjoyed that. So I did that. I did the train table, coffee table. So now then we start building a lot of signs, wooden signs. You know, instead of let's say 215 Century Street, you know, I actually built a sign for it, a real nice one, and then we'll mount it in the front of the house.
Oh, so you made a sign for your house?
Yeah, so so custom made it all done, and now I'm waiting for my wife to actually paint it. But then we said we're not going to put it out this year, you know, at least until next year with the winter coming. So.
Wow, that's very interesting.
So I do have a lot of fun things or projects to do when I retire. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, you're going to be."
So you're able to do some work, like you mentioned that when you're young or you're little, you don't have a chance to learn something, but now you think you can do whatever you want.
Got all the time in the world.
Yes.
So
that's pretty good. Okay, so actually you during the talk you mentioned you have a lot of materials and you're very good organizing your materials. Actually, I'm very interested to acquire more materials from you, not only for your mini marathon achievement, but also like the life in the army and the movie you mentioned, the photographs you mentioned. If you can share with us, that would be great. We would like to create a collection of you. Yeah,
I can. I can work with Harvey on it, because a lot of like the video and all that. It's a big, large size video, of course. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. I mean, as far how to send it send it over to Harvey and all that. And I do want to take some of the photos off because they have some of my family pictures as part of it and things like that.
Yeah.
But I definitely have a lot
I
of.
look forward to.
I've been
to
around a
learn
lot
more,
in the.
from
I've been
materials.
I've been around in the Army a lot. I've been to a lot of places.
Yeah, that will be a very interesting collection. We collect family, individual, immigration story, but also I think your case is very interesting, like as runner and also.
I might review too much stuff about myself.
That's very interesting. Actually, the last question I think it's about what do you hope people remember about your story?
Yeah, it's I think, now my parents are gone. I think so much more about how much stuff I wish I could share with my parents.
Yeah, definitely.
Like even now, like for example, we're sitting here. I mean, I don't think my parents are going to believe that I'm sitting with you and talk about my story, and so I'm very sure they're proud of it. And
yeah, definitely. I think we do keep a family history and as even like a genealogy story. Definitely your grandparents, your parents' story, also very interesting to keep.
Right.
Yeah, within your collection. Yeah. So
that would be interesting. Yeah, there's so I've done a lot in my lifetime, and I'm very, very proud of it. I wish I'm very glad that I was curious, sort of naive, I guess you call it. Maybe it's better that way because you don't know what you're doing, you just do it. And
But that's very important advice, I think.
And that's why I said for any kids or whatever, it's hey, go for it. I mean, I was really, really very, very happy to see that when I went to my nephew's high school graduation just this past just before the summer, that the school actually recognized those who actually joined the military. I'm like, wow, that is great. I mean, I'm glad they're receiving the recognition that they actually deserve.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So. Is there anything else you would like to share with us? About your family, your kids, or anything interesting or anything important.
Not too much. I think in a way you covered a lot of the top layer, the Army, the work, the running, and I think it was an interesting interview. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we would like to continue to collect materials from you,
right,
and to tell more comprehensive, completed story about yourself and your family.
Sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to contribute.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for the interview. Appreciate it.
Thank you.